we're going to go on to our authorization of the USDB summer facility projects. Joel, we do have a time certain at 10:30 after this, so I believe you're going to present on this. Superintendent Coleman? Is he on here?
He is on. He's just trying to unmute.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, we can.
Oh, good. Thank you. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Brief technical difficulty. Thank you, board members. Yeah, this is a brief item, but we just need sort of a blanket approval to allow us to spend more than $100,000 on things during the summer, because we have to move on some things like moving the portable building to St. George and the reconfiguration of some of those rooms, and it still might not be ready in time for school to start. And there's bids coming in for some renovation work inside the small gym area at the JMS building on our Salt Lake campus. With construction costs and everything else, we're fairly certain some of those 2 or 3 projects will probably go over $100,000. And in order to do it or get some of these things moving along, we're not going to be able to wait until the next board meeting you have, which is in August. If you recall, we had to get this permission for the demolition of the Mill Creek building as well earlier this year, and it was postponed 2 weeks, which is going to put that project past the starting day of school. And so the board has a policy. I don't think it's a rule, but it's a board policy that we always try to honor, which is that any expenditure over $100,000, we get the board's permission on that, even if it's an appropriation already from the legislature. And we like those controls. We like the board to be involved and knowledgeable about everything that's going on. And so anyway, in this case, just because summer is such a short season and it's very difficult to get everything done, we just need your permission to do that for some of these larger projects that are already in the works, and we're getting RFPs. Even in the next week, some of them are closing and we'll be getting bids on those, but we won't have another chance to get them approved, and we can't really wait until August to start some of them.
Okay, thank you for that. I would be seeking a motion on this.
Board Member Moss here. I'll move to approve the requested expenditure.
Okay, so
Board Member Straight.
thank you, Booth. I got Board Member Booth as a second. So Board Member Moss, would this be okay that the board approve USDB's 2 summer projects that may exceed $100,000? Is that correct, Joel?
At least there may be a third.
Okay, so Board Member Moss, may I repeat this to you? That the board approves summer projects that may exceed $100,000. Is that an acceptable motion, Board Member Moss?
So moved.
Board Member Booth, are you okay with that motion in clarity?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any, Board Member Moss, do you have discussion to your motion?
No, thanks.
Okay, we do have some questions and discussion. Board Member Lear?
Thank you. I may have been a lazy listener, Superintendent Coleman, so I apologize. But did you say that that the money was appropriated, and it's just that the sort of formality of coming to the board, even though it's even though you have money available and it's already been funded? Is that an accurate?
Yes, it's funded and it's already been approved by the board as part of the overall budget, but we also get approval when it's time to execute each project in addition as an additional control. And for the 2 portables and the little gym project, we're just asking if we can forego that final vote of the board.
Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Coleman. Board Member Cannon?
I think you just answered my question, Joel. I was just wondering if you could enumerate the projects so we aren't voting blind.
Yes.
Superintendent Coleman, you want to respond to those 3?
Yes, one is the Mill Creek portable, where demolishing the existing portable and replacing it with a new one that was funded by the legislature already, and it's in our budget. Second one is the portable that was given to us by the state recently, and we're moving it to St. George and reconfiguring it to provide 4 additional classrooms. And the third is a small gym at the JMS building in Mill Creek, or Mill Creek City, but it's on our Salt Lake campus, to renovate that, to make more classroom space out of the gym and to make it flexible. So we can still use it as a gym, but we can use it for some secondary classes too.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Board Member Cannon. Board Member Hanson?
Thank you, Chair. Some of my questions have been answered. I just didn't see anything in backup for this, and I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage today because I'm having problems with the board view of Civic Clerk, but I didn't see that any backup had been prepared. I also didn't see a not to exceed number or anything like that. I'm really uncomfortable. Just, if we're going to vote, it ought to mean something. So I'm uncomfortable without some information on this. Is there a not to exceed that we're looking at here, or we're just giving you carte blanche to go over $100,000?
Yeah, you're just allowing us to do that. It's not to exceed our budget, which obviously if the costs are too big, we won't be able to do other things. So we still live within the financial parameters. This is just a threshold that the board has set, that right before we execute a project, you get one final vote on that. So there's not and the backup documents are not here because these RFPs are still out, so we don't have the contract yet. We can always not execute them if we don't have the budget money to do it. But in this case, we don't think that's it's more of a formality as a final vote. So I understand your discomfort with that, and that's why we haven't just said carte blanche. Anything you want to spend over 100,000 on, go ahead. It's only these 3 projects, which we're certain will come in over that amount.
Thank you.
Superintendent Coleman, I'm not sure that Board Member Hanson got a clarity. So is there a threshold? Would these go up to 500,000? What would be your threshold financially to not accept these RFPs?
Oh, well, if it exceeded the amount that the legislature appropriated for it, or exceeded the amount in our carry forward money that we have budgeted for it, in the money we already have, because we can't exceed our budget. And so either we would have to shift other things around internally or just not do the project. But we've set aside money just specifically for these projects. So we just can't exceed our budget. That's the main control right there.
Okay, thank you. And maybe on June 22nd, we can have a little more clarity on what that budget was when we meet on the 22nd.
Sure.
Thank you. Seeing no more hands, the motion before the board is that the board approves USDB summer projects that may exceed $100,000. Please vote. Board Member Straight. Thank you. Board Member Earl. Thank you. The voting is 1 no vote by Board Member Hanson, and the rest are yes votes. Is that good, Sybil?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you, Superintendent Coleman. Nice to see you, even though we're not having board meeting today. So yes. For you.
Okay. See you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much.